Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Adija. Today we have a special guest, Brittany, and she's going to be talking to us about the field of social work and what social work practice she's engaged in. So if you'd like to find out more about what Brittany does, keep on watching. Hi Brittany!
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for taking the time out to talk to people out there about the type of social work that you're involved in and how they can get started. So what do you do?
Well, my current role is I'm a clinical social worker, and I see any age group from birth to the end of life.
Okay, so you see from like do you see 3-year-olds, 5-year-olds?
I do. I can see anyone under the age of 3, and I work a lot with children 5 and up too.
Okay. Let's go back a little bit. How did you know that social work was the profession that you wanted to get involved in?
Well, I didn't know that it was something I wanted to get involved in. I originally went to school to become an accountant.
Oh.
And I realized that I'm not a fan of numbers or a desk job. I enjoy talking to people. I like to talk a lot. And my mom is a social worker, and that's kind of where I fell in love with it. Okay. I saw what she did and I liked what she did.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about your educational background. How did you get to where you are today?
Well, I went to University of Detroit Mercy for my bachelor's degree.
Go Detroit!
Which is where I took one accounting class and realized, no thank you. And I got into social work. Once I graduated with my bachelor's degree, I went into my master's degree at Wayne State University. Okay. And then I have since been in the work field.
So would you suggest that for people out there that would like to become a social worker, would you suggest that they should pursue their master's also, or could they do a lot even with bachelor's degree? What do you think?
I would say automatically go into your master's degree, because it's very difficult to find good paying jobs at a bachelor's level, and you cannot become licensed through the state with a bachelor's level.
Okay. All right. So what was your experience like being a social work student? How did you know the type of social work that you're doing, which we're going to get a little bit into later on, but how did you know that, okay, this is a kind of internship that I want to engage in, this kind of social work that I want to do? How were you able to figure that out?
Well, I chose Wayne State University because they have a interpersonal practice. Okay. And I'm not super thrilled about the macro side, where you do more of like the grant writing and management of the actual agency. Okay. Like I said, I like to talk to people, I like to be involved, and that's why I chose the interpersonal path, so I can do more of the therapeutic role of social work. Okay. And from there, once I got into my program, you can choose which area of clinical externship that you want to do, and there I chose to do a school-based one. At that point, I was unsure if I wanted to go into the schools to do school social work, or if I wanted to go more into like an agency type of setting. And I do know that when you're in school during the internship phase, it's much easier to get the hours that are required in the state of Michigan for your school social work certificate. So that's why I chose that. I believe you have to have 500 hours in a school setting. That's hard to do once you're already working at a job. Schools are only...
Why not get it while you're in school? Right.
So that's why I chose that.
Okay. So in thinking about the types of internships, right? You talked about going into the school setting to get your internship and to get the experience. Was it something that you knew that you wanted to do, or did you have to talk to an academic advisor to place you, or how did that whole process go for you?
So for me, when I was at Wayne State, they had a form that I had to fill out, and I had 3 different areas that I chose on what I was interested in as far as an internship. And then you had to rate them top to least favorite. Okay. And that's how I was...
You were placed in it. Okay. So right now how long have you been in a practice? How long have you been in the field of social work?
Officially 10 years as of May, so
yes. That's a great accomplishment.
It is.
It's a very tough field, right? So 10 years in the game, That's awesome. Go Britt. That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell us about the kind of social work that you do now.
So what I do now is I work for a federally qualified health center, and I do outpatient therapy.
Okay.
So I work with the patients in my office. They come to me, and then I do my therapy session, and they go about their day.
Okay. So, and talking about like a day in the life of a clinical social worker in the FQHC setting, with Federal Qualified Health Center setting, what does that look like exactly? Is it like an integrated practice, or is everybody separate and you just come and visit, whoever you want to see, or how does that work?
It's more integrative.
Okay.
So where I am, a lot of times the patients that I see also have doctor's appointments in the same facility that day. So they come and they do their doctor's appointments, they come see me, pick up prescriptions, go to the dentist, whatever they need to do, and then they go about their day. I always call it like a one-stop shop.
Right.
Because everything is housed within.
Right. So with the kind of clientele that you have, talk a little bit more about that. So we know that they're children from 0 to death. What kind of community do you serve in?
I currently serve a low-income population, an underserved population, and I do see a lot of children at my facility. I'm the only social worker on staff that is able to work with children and that's comfortable working with children. So right now, I would say a majority of my caseload are children of elementary school age.
Okay.
And I'm working a lot with the schools to diagnose different adolescent disorders such as ADHD or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
Right. For those that don't know what that is, right? Yeah.
We have a lot of acronyms as social workers.
Right.
Otherwise, and then other ones that I see also are oppositional defiant disorder, and then anxiety and depression. I see a lot of that as well.
So when you have clients, the children and adults that you see, how long do you usually see them for?
Well, I usually see them for anywhere from 6 months to a year, but because of the setting that I currently work in, the clients are able to come back as needed anytime.
Okay. So talking about the kind of clientele that you serve, I know children, they're a specialized population and they need a lot of care and attention, like any other population, but children, they're considered to be a high-risk population.
Right.
So how do you prevent burnout with working with that clientele?
For me, I do a lot of self-care, so being able to take time for myself. I also have about a 40-minute drive home, and I use that time to kind of recenter myself before I come home, so that way
you don't bring that home.
I don't bring that home, and I'm present for my family when I get home.
Okay. Do you ever go on vacation? What else do you
do? I try to go on vacation every 3 months. I know that's a random number, but I was told by a previous supervisor actually that it's very useful to go about every 3 months just to kind of recharge your system and step away.
Like every quarter. Yeah. Okay. That's really good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I try.
So I know we've talked about what you're specialized in infant mental health specialty. Is there anything that you have to continuously do to keep that title? How does that work?
I do. So just like once you're fully licensed, you have to do continuing education. I have to do 15 hours of continuing education specifically in the realm of infant mental health.
Okay.
And it's an organization, so they put on the trainings and everything, and I will go to them.
Okay, so you could do that anytime during a period of a year or 2
yes,
years.
Yes, so the 15 hours is every year.
Okay.
And along with that, and this would also go towards how I prevent burnout, is I have to do 1 hour of supervision a month in relation to infant mental health. And it also helps me process difficult cases I may be working with. And it helps me to reflect on my feelings towards the case to make sure that there's no counter-transference going on.
So in your field, in the area where you currently work, how important is it to have a good working environment?
Oh, it's very important. I've been in some employment areas that were really difficult
Okay.
environments to work in, and I did not last there very long.
Okay. So what other field of social work have you been involved in?
Oh, what haven't I been involved in?
Tell us about it.
So when I first graduated from my master's program, I was my first employment was at a juvenile delinquent center. That was extremely difficult. It was poorly run, and actually that center is no longer open. And I lasted 3 months there.
Wow.
But
so it was intense.
It was intense,
Okay.
and that 3 months felt like 2 years.
Okay.
It was not safe, it wasn't healthy, and it nearly broke up every relationship that I had in my life because
that was too much.
It was too much.
Okay.
I was working all the time, so it was nice to find something else after that.
Okay. So being in the field of social work, that's already a very stressful field to be in. It's important to be in a place where you feel like you're making an impact and you have a good work-life balance.
Correct.
And you're not taking a lot of work baggages home.
Right. It's not worth it. Your health
It's not worth it.
Your health and your mental sanity is worth more than a very difficult job, one that you're worried to go to every day. You're worried for your safety. Your life is worth more than that.
So you pretty much have to find, if I can just piggyback on what Brittany said, you pretty much have to find the field that works for you. You have to find the place of employment that works for you, because it's already a difficult job to begin with. We're not here to make it sound like it's super easy, because it's not, but you have to find the area that works for you and where you can grow and thrive and make an impact. And going into impact, how do you feel like you're making an impact in the organization where you're at and the population that you're serving?
Well, more so for the population that I'm serving, it's the relationships that I built with my clients. I know that they're my clients, but they're also an extension of my family, and that respect goes back and forth. You always have your professional boundaries, but you become part of their family.
Right. We spend more time at work, right?
Yes.
We spend a lot of time at work, rather.
That is true. And before I came into the FQHC world where I do outpatient therapy, I was doing home-based therapy. So I was in the homes with families for up to 4 hours a week. So I just kind of extended that way of practice into my outpatient practice.
So when you see clients, you say you see them between 6 months to a year. Is there ever do they have difficulty? Now that you formed this bond with them, how do they stay in touch? Can they stay in touch?
They can stay in touch. I will never reach out to a patient because of ethics. But if they reach out to me, I will return a phone call or even an email. And I do get emails and phone calls from past patients just letting me know that they're still doing really well, and that they're moving forward in their life, or they've gone to college or whatnot. So
that's good, because you're serving a population they're still growing, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So
that's good.
Although I'm not gonna lie, it makes me feel old when they tell me they're going off to college.
You're like, wait, hold on, you were 5.
But it's also really great
to
see.
see that they're doing well. Good. Well, thank you so much,
You're
Brittany,
welcome.
for joining us and sharing a wealth of knowledge about the infant mental health social work field. We've really enjoyed talking to you and learning more about what you do. We appreciate you, and thank you. If you have any questions for Brittany, comment below, and we'll see you next time. Bye.